Okay, what I have done is I've taken what's called Quick Stick. It's a felt material with a sticky backing. Find it at any of your craft stores in the felt aisle. And I've cut out a small piece to adhere to a ceramic glazed tile. Needs to be one that has a shiny surface to it. You do not want something that's just bisque, which has a rough surface. It has to be shiny and sealed. And then we've applied the felt to this side, and I'll explain why as we're working here. Okay, so I've got just an ordinary rubber stamp. The less detailed it is, the better it is. And just a small fan brush. You could use any kind of a brush, but I like to use a nice soft fan. Then I have my etched glass that we did earlier, and it won't show on camera, but you can tell from one side it has a little bit of a sheen to it, the other side does not. So we're going to actually be stamping on the etched side. And the reason for that is because it will not, the stamp doesn't want to slide. I have done one here where I've stamped on just a plain glass piece without any etching, but it tends to slip and slide a little bit, and you may end up getting halos around your piece. Okay, and this is what we're going for eventually. This is the piece that I've stamped on, and I'll explain all the different steps. Okay, so let's start out. We've got our etch glass, we've got our ink pad, I call this. You put a generous amount, a bead of color. This is CC 101 that we're working with, or you can use your DB 101, or you can use any color of the concentrates. I just wanted a black outline as far as me. Okay, take your brush and you want to work it back and forth, and this is creating your ink pad. Just take a few seconds, 5-6 seconds, and actually work that up. Leave your brush coated because you're going to need to rework it after you stamp. Okay, so what we're going to do is create this design. So I'm going to take my stamp and I'm going to ink it. Make sure you're pressed firmly. You can kind of see the design, and I like to start in the middle, press down firmly, hold onto your glass, lift straight up so that you have a nice impression. Now if you think you've got enough room here, you can do another one, but if you go over an area that you've already stamped in, your stamp will not have a complete coverage of the color. So I'm going to reapply, and I'm going to look at where this stamp is and strategically place it on my glass. Okay, so that it's coming off, and I've got enough room here that I'm going to stamp another one, ink it, whoops, okay, and then come over to your piece. You may need to move your glass around so that you can see, and I can see the stamp from underneath where it's actually going to stamp at. Now it's a little heavier there in the middle, so what I'm going to do is use that felt to clean off some of that excess, and then I'll be ready to go again. Okay, so just clean some of that off. If you get it really bad and it starts interfering with your design, then I would go rinse it under the sink, the water, and dry it before starting again. Don't ever use a wet brush to do your ink with, because the color will just bead up on that glazed tile. It needs to be a completely dry fan brush or larger brush that you're going to use. Ink it, and then come over, and I kind of just look at my stamp, how it's positioned. Stamp it, hold your glass down just in case it suctions and tries to pull it up. Turn your work as you're going. Okay, and turn the stamp because you don't want the pattern repeated exactly. Sit it down gently, firmly press, and lift straight up. Turn. I'm going to take a little bit of this off on the felt. Ink it. stamp, hold, and lift. I'm going to go ahead and use this down here because I'm not going to use very much of it. Constantly turning, and then I'm going to just find an area that looks like it's going to work for me. Stamp it and lift. Okay, so now you have two options. You can let this dry. Try to get that off, the color off of there as soon as possible because it makes it just harder to get off. You can just let it dry. If it was a clear piece, you can let it dry and you can paint on the back side, a little bit on the top, but you're going to start moving things around, more so on the back. What I've done on this particular piece here is I did stamp it on one side, and then you can tell that this one here and this one here I colored on top. The others I colored on the bottom with accents on the top. And I did not fire this piece prior to doing this original fire. You can, which I did on this particular piece here, the one with the wash in the background. I fired this on, and it was on white glass, just like I'm doing here, because I wanted to be able to do whatever I wanted on the surface and didn't have to worry about the black moving, loosening, smearing, whatever the case is. Okay, so this I will take out and I will fire this. And this is so cool because you don't have to have a steady hand to outline. You've got your outline already there, and now you can paint it in. So I'm going to fire this. If you've got a slump fire going in, just put it in with that up to 1225. Put a hold on it. My particular one, I was doing some deeper slumps. I had one that was set for 30 minutes. So a minimum, I would say, of 1225 to set this color concentrate, just so it doesn't move, so that you can work on top and do your design work, color work. Okay.